The dream of buying a home in America has never been harder to achieve. For millions of aspiring homeowners, the path to ownership is a minefield of impossible prices, brutal interest rates, and vanishing affordability. But in 2025, in a growing number of cities, this isn't just a challenge, it's a catastrophic gamble. These are places where a single bad move can cost you tens of thousands of dollars in a market that is turned against buyers. What was once a promise of stability is now a precarious position, threatening to turn a home into a financial liability. From sun-scorched suburbs to iconic urban hubs, these cities are now a dangerous combination of high risk and low reward. They are not just expensive, they are fundamentally unsound for anyone looking to invest in their future. The very pillars of their housing markets are showing deep structural cracks. Which cities, the former darlings of the housing boom, have become the absolute worst places to buy a house in 2025? Where are the fault lines most pronounced and the risks so great that a buyer must simply walk away? We're diving deep into the grim data, identifying the most fragile markets in the nation. Get ready for a sobering truth. Today, Discover the Nation unveils Top 10 Worst Cities in America to Buy a House in 2025. If you own a home here or are considering buying, this is your crucial warning.
Number 10. San Diego, California. Kicking off our countdown at number 10, San Diego, California's eternal paradise, sun, surf, and some of the most expensive real estate in the country. But in 2025, even this paradise is brutally crushing the homeownership dreams of its middle class, making it one of the worst places to buy a house in America. Its high costs and reliance on a delicate economic balance make it profoundly vulnerable. San Diego's median home prices soared to over $875,000 during the peak frenzy of 2021 to 2022. For a middle-class family in San Diego, this price point is devastating. A 20% down payment alone demands $175,000. Then, with mortgage rates at 7%, the principal and interest payment alone for an $875,000 home exceeds $5,800 per month. Add in property taxes, around 1.1%, and crippling insurance premiums for coastal and wildfire-prone properties, easily $500 to $1,000 plus monthly, and the total housing cost can easily consume over 95% of a middle-class gross income, an unbearable burden. The lack of affordable inventory is a massive issue. Competition remains fierce from higher-income earners, cash buyers, and investors, leaving the middle class with no viable options. The city's job market is cooling in some sectors, and wages simply haven't kept pace with housing costs. San Diego, once seen as an attainable slice of the California dream, is now systematically pricing out its own middle class, leaving them with no realistic path to homeownership despite their hard work and respectable earnings, as the beauty remains but the financial foundation crumbles.
Number 9. Denver, Colorado. Our next ominous signal at number 9 is Denver, Colorado. The mile-high city, renowned for its breathtaking mountain views, vibrant outdoor culture, and booming tech scene, became an undeniable magnet for remote workers and young professionals. Its housing market soared, reflecting immense desirability. But in 2025, Denver's elevated housing market is now a minefield for new buyers, making it one of the worst places to buy a house in America. Denver's growth was overwhelmingly driven by its thriving tech industry, outdoor lifestyle appeal, and a continuous influx of high-earning residents. This combination led to substantial price appreciation, over 50% since 2020, pushing median home prices to around $650,000. However, a significant economic downturn would directly impact Denver's tech sector, leading to widespread layoffs and hiring freezes. The alarming risk for new buyers lies in this already stretched affordability. With current 7% mortgage rates, affordability is a critical concern. A $130,000 down payment for a $650,000 home and monthly payments of over $4,300 are simply out of reach for many. If you're gaining vital insight into these collapsing markets, please gently hit that subscribe button to Discover the Nation. Your support empowers our in-depth investigations. Inventory has already surged, up 38% year over year, and homes are sitting longer, average 75 days. In a true meltdown scenario, this surplus would overwhelm reduced demand, leading to widespread price reductions and a painful erosion of equity, reminiscent of the widespread financial devastation seen in 2008. Denver's housing market, built on a foundation of high salaries and continuous growth, is particularly vulnerable to job cuts and reduced consumer confidence, making it a high-risk gamble for anyone looking to buy.
Number 8. Los Angeles, California. The sprawling, dazzling epicenter of entertainment, culture, and ambition. A city where dreams are made, and for middle-class families, where homeownership dreams are utterly crushed. While LA offers a diverse job market and endless allure, the sheer scale of its housing crisis makes it an almost impossible battleground for aspiring middle-class homeowners, making it one of the worst places to buy a house in America. The affordability crisis in Los Angeles is a relentless opponent. The countywide median home price is around a daunting $900,000. For a middle-class family in LA with a median household income of roughly $85,000, this price point is devastating. A 20% down payment on a $900,000 home demands a staggering $180,000 up front. Then, with mortgage rates at 7%, the principal and interest payment alone rockets past $6,000 per month. When you add in Los Angeles County's property taxes, averaging 1.25%, adding $900+ monthly, and escalating insurance premiums due to widespread wildfire and earthquake risks, easily $400 to $600+ monthly, the total housing burden can easily exceed $7,500 per month. This means over 100% of a typical middle-class family's monthly gross income would be devoured by housing alone, a simply unsustainable scenario. Despite the city's vastness, the inventory of truly affordable entry-level homes is perpetually scarce in desirable neighborhoods. Competition remains fierce for anything below the $1 million mark, often involving multiple offers, including cash bids from higher earners or investors. The high cost of living in general, transportation, utilities, food, further erodes savings and makes it impossible to accrue the necessary funds. For middle-class families, Los Angeles isn't just difficult, it's a monumental, often futile struggle against systemic forces that price them out before they even begin.
Number 7. Seattle, Washington. Landing at number 7, we turn our urgent attention to Seattle, Washington, the rain-kissed tech giant of the Pacific Northwest, where colossal corporations like Amazon and Microsoft built empires of wealth, propelling housing prices to dizzying heights. But in 2025, Seattle's once vibrant housing market has tragically become a financial fortress, systematically crushing the homeownership aspirations of its middle-class families, making it one of the worst places to buy a home in America. Seattle's explosive growth was overwhelmingly driven by its thriving tech industry, attracting a continuous influx of high-earning professionals. This created immense demand and drove median home prices to around $800,000. However, a significant economic downturn would directly impact Seattle's tech sector, leading to widespread layoffs and hiring freezes. The alarming risk for new buyers lies in this already stretched affordability. With current 7% mortgage rates, affordability is a critical concern. A 20% down payment alone demands $160,000. Then, with mortgage rates stubbornly around 7%, the principal and interest payment alone for an $800,000 home rockets past $5,300 per month. Add in property taxes, around 0.93%, adding $600 plus monthly, and the generally high cost of utilities, and the total housing cost can easily consume over 65% of a middle-class gross income, an unbearable burden. Even as inventory increased overall, starter homes are quickly snatched up by higher earners, leaving the middle class with no viable options. The city's concentration of wealth means competition is fierce, and local wages, while respectable, simply haven't kept pace with housing costs. Seattle's housing market, built on a foundation of tech salaries and continuous growth, is now actively pricing out its own middle class, leaving them with no realistic path to homeownership, despite their hard work and respectable earnings.
Number 6. Miami, Florida.
This glittering, iconic global city, a magnet for luxury tourism, international investment, and vibrant culture, experienced an unparalleled housing boom. Its radiant sunshine seemed to promise immunity from economic woes. But in 2025, Miami's housing market has reached a point where middle-class families simply cannot afford to buy a house, actively pushing them out of their own communities, making it one of the worst places to buy a home in America. Miami's housing market saw explosive growth, fueled by its booming tourism and hospitality sectors, and a continuous influx of high-net-worth individuals and international capital. This drove median home prices to around $540,000. For a middle-class family in Miami, with a median household income of roughly $65,000, this price point is devastatingly out of reach. A 20% down payment alone requires $108,000. Then, with 7% mortgage rates, the principal and interest payment alone for a $540,000 home exceeds $3,600 per month. Add in skyrocketing property taxes, around 1.8%, and crippling insurance premiums, often $10,000 plus annually, and the total housing cost can easily consume over 80% of a middle-class gross income, a financial impossibility. If you're finding this crucial analysis of America's collapsing middle-class dream essential for your understanding, please gently hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. Your support fuels our vital investigations. Competition from cash buyers and investors remains fierce, leaving middle-class families little chance. Job growth in service industries can be volatile, and wages haven't kept pace with housing costs. Miami's housing market, built on luxury and external wealth, is now systematically squeezing out its own middle class, forcing them into a permanent renter status despite their efforts.
Number 5. San Francisco, California. The iconic city of innovation, extreme wealth, and unparalleled real estate values has long been a global magnet for talent. But in 2025, San Francisco is a financial fortress for aspiring homeowners, making it one of the absolute worst places in America to buy a house. San Francisco's housing market sits at the ultimate extreme. The median home price, even after recent dips, still hovers around an astronomical $1.25 million. For a middle-class family in San Francisco, earning a median household income of roughly $120,000, this price point is an unscalable mountain. A 20% down payment demands a mind-boggling $250,000 up front. Then, with mortgage rates at 7%, the principal and interest payment alone for a $1.25 million home rockets past $8,300 per month. Factor in notoriously high property taxes, around 1.25%, adding $1,300 plus monthly, often exorbitant HOA fees, common for its abundant condos, often $800 to $1,500 plus monthly, and rising insurance costs, and the total monthly housing burden easily exceeds $10,000 to $11,000. This astronomical outlay consumes well over 100% of a typical middle-class family's monthly gross income, a financial impossibility. The lack of affordable inventory is the ultimate barrier. Even with recent tech layoffs, the underlying wealth and extreme scarcity of buildable land keep prices anchored at unattainable levels. Competition, even for modest properties, remains intense from all-cash buyers or those with immense wealth. San Francisco isn't just one of the worst cities, it's a painful, stark symbol of a housing market that has become utterly detached from the financial realities of its own middle class, leaving them with no viable path to home ownership.
Number 4. Boise, Idaho. Boise isn't just in a housing downturn, it's rapidly becoming ground zero for the 2025 housing collapse, a chilling and powerful testament to how quickly a pandemic boom can turn into a devastating bust, making it one of the worst places to buy a home in America. Few cities in America can match the explosive, unsustainable growth Boise experienced during the COVID housing boom. Between 2019 and 2022, the median home price here soared from $285,000 to nearly $575,000, a staggering 100% increase. But what goes up at such a reckless speed in real estate usually comes crashing down harder, and Boise is already tumbling headfirst into disaster. By 2025, the initial cracks have transformed into terrifying chasms. Inventory has exploded, an unprecedented glut, and homes that once vanished in bidding wars now languish for 140 to 150 days as demand utterly dries up. With rents falling and mortgage costs relentlessly rising, the financial math simply doesn't work anymore. Some desperate investors are now dumping properties at fire sale prices just to mitigate their colossal losses. Simultaneously, local families are being ruthlessly priced out. With interest rates stubbornly above 7%, the monthly cost to buy a median-priced home is now over $3,800. While average household incomes haven't kept pace, many prospective buyers have simply given up. Experts grimly predict Boise could face a brutal 60% price collapse, ruthlessly returning home values to pre-2015 levels. In many chilling ways, this is déjà vu from 2008, but potentially even more dangerous because this time the overvaluation is broader and the economic headwinds are demonstrably stronger. Boise isn't just falling, it's unequivocally leading the crash.
Number 3, Las Vegas, Nevada. At number 3, we head to Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas thrives on risk, but this time the house is unequivocally losing. After a wild pandemic-era boom, the Vegas housing market is now collapsing faster than a busted flush. From 2020 to early 2022, median home prices in Las Vegas shot from $290,000 to over $460,000. That's a staggering 58% spike, recklessly driven by remote workers, eager out-of-state investors, and dirt-cheap interest rates. But by 2025, the cards have devastatingly turned, and Vegas is heading for a housing bust that could tragically rival 2008. The market is in an alarming freefall. Inventory is ballooning relentlessly. The number of active listings has more than doubled in the past year alone. Homes that once sold in a weekend now sit for 3 to 4 months. Price reductions are ubiquitous. Over 40% of all listings are now being aggressively discounted, many by $50,000 to $150,000. Thousands of new homes were erected across suburbs like Summerlin and Henderson, foolishly targeting middle-class Californians and investors who blindly believed the Vegas boom would last forever. But now that speculative investor class is in full liquidation mode. Rents are visibly dropping, and critical Airbnb income has utterly dried up. Mortgage rates stubbornly over 7% have transformed once hot Vegas homes from prized commodities into financial dead weight. Las Vegas remains dangerously reliant on tourism, hospitality, and entertainment jobs, many of which haven't returned to pre-COVID strength. That makes the market exceptionally sensitive to broader economic slowdowns. Should current grim conditions persist, analysts grimly expect home values could regress to pre-2015 levels, meaning a brutal 60% plus correction is absolutely on the table. In Las Vegas, the real estate dream has brutally materialized as just another illusion, now melting under the intense heat of higher rates, weak demand, and a catastrophic oversupply, leaving widespread financial devastation in its wake.
Number 2. Phoenix, Arizona. At number 2, we turn our urgent attention to Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix isn't just in a housing downturn, it's rapidly becoming ground zero for the 2025 housing collapse, eerily mirroring its painful role as an epicenter in 2008, making it one of the worst places to buy a house in America. Few cities in America can match the explosive, unsustainable growth Phoenix saw during the COVID housing boom. Between 2019 and 2022, the median home price here soared from $280,000 to nearly $510,000, a staggering 82% increase. But what goes up at such a reckless speed in real estate usually comes crashing down harder, and Phoenix is already tumbling headfirst into disaster. By 2025, the initial cracks have transformed into terrifying chasms.
Inventory has quadrupled, an unprecedented glut, and over 55% of listings now conspicuously feature price reductions, some by $100,000 or more. Homes that once vanished in frenzied bidding wars now languish for 90 to 120 days as demand utterly dries up and investors engage in a desperate race for the exits. Phoenix was utterly flooded with investors during the boom, especially iBuyers and institutional landlords who recklessly acquired thousands of homes, often sight unseen. Many of those properties are now catastrophically underwater. With rents falling and mortgage costs relentlessly rising, the financial math simply doesn't work anymore. Some desperate investors are now dumping properties at fire sale prices just to mitigate their colossal losses. Simultaneously, Phoenix locals are being ruthlessly priced out. With interest rates stubbornly above 7%, the monthly cost to buy a median-priced home is now over $3,800. Another critical pressure point is reckless overbuilding. The city's outskirts in areas like Buckeye, Queen Creek, and Maricopa are tragically littered with half-empty subdivisions. Experts grimly predict Phoenix could face a brutal 60% price collapse, ruthlessly returning home values to pre-2015 levels. In many chilling ways, this is déjà vu from 2008, but potentially even more dangerous because this time the overvaluation is broader and the economic headwinds are demonstrably stronger. Phoenix isn't just falling, it's unequivocally leading the crash.
Number 1. Austin, Texas. Topping our list as the single worst city in America to buy a house in 2025, Austin, Texas. Austin isn't just in a housing downturn, it's rapidly becoming ground zero for the 2025 housing collapse, eerily mirroring its painful role as an epicenter in 2008. Few cities in America can match the explosive, unsustainable growth Austin experienced during the COVID housing boom. Between 2019 and 2022, the median home price year soared from $340,000 to over $670,000, a jaw-dropping 97% increase. But what goes up at such a reckless speed in real estate usually comes crashing down harder, and Austin is already tumbling headfirst into disaster. By 2025, the initial cracks have transformed into terrifying chasms. Inventory has quadrupled, an unprecedented glut, and over 55% of listings now conspicuously feature price reductions, some by $100,000 or more. Homes that once vanished in frenzied bidding wars now languish for 90 to 120 days as demand utterly dries up and investors engage in a desperate race for the exits. Austin was utterly flooded with new residents and investors during the boom, especially remote workers and tech transplants who recklessly bid up prices. Many of those properties are now catastrophically underwater. With rents falling and mortgage costs relentlessly rising, the financial math simply doesn't work anymore. Some desperate investors are now dumping properties at fire sale prices just to mitigate their colossal losses. Another critical pressure point is reckless overbuilding. The city's outskirts are tragically littered with half-empty subdivisions. Builders are offering massive, unprecedented incentives, aggressively dragging down comps in the process. Foreclosures are ominously rising again, particularly among buyers who stretch their finances with low down payments. Even FHA-backed loans are beginning to default, signaling deeper systemic trouble ahead. In many chilling ways, this is déjà vu from 2008, but potentially even more dangerous because this time the overvaluation is broader and the economic headwinds are demonstrably stronger. Austin isn't just falling, it's unequivocally leading the crash.
The message is clear. The 2025 housing crash is no longer a prediction. It's a full-blown disaster unfolding in real time. Across America, once booming cities are now drowning in listings, price cuts, and desperate sellers. From desert suburbs to coastal retreats, no region is safe. Equity is vanishing overnight, and mortgage payments are crushing families. The American dream didn't disappear here, but it did get distorted. Builders are panicking, buyers have vanished, and investors are racing to dump properties before the market implodes. So if you're looking to buy in these markets, be cautious, be informed, be strategic.
Not every sunny promise hides a paradise. Some are planted in markets that won't recover for years. Don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone who needs to see this vital information, and of course, hit that subscribe button to discover the nation. We'll see you in the next video, because sometimes knowing where not to buy can be the best investment decision of all.